Time Warner Cable is pleased to be an underwriting sponsor for Carolina Week.
Coming up on the March 31st edition of Carolina Week.
I'm Adam Rue. Coming up, snags in the system meant to keep you safe.
It's time for a New Year's celebration, Persian style.
In sports, making the Final Four is big, but it's not the ultimate goal for our basketball teams.
Weathercaster Corey Davis will tell us when sunshine will return.
All that and a way to tell the world you bleed Tar Heel blue. Carolina Week starts right now.
From the James F. Goodman Studio in the School of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, connecting campus and community, this is Carolina Week.
Hello and welcome to the Monday edition of Carolina Week. I'm Carly Swain.
And I'm Jonathan O. Thank you for joining us, and sportscaster Marissa May is here a little bit early, and I think we know why.
That's right. The Tar Heels are in the Final Four for the 17th time in the school's history. Carolina will face Kansas in the Final Four. The Jayhawks advanced by beating the Cinderella story of the tournament, Davidson. The win matches Carolina against Kansas in a much-anticipated game between Roy Williams and his former school. The Tar Heels advanced by beating Washington State and then Louisville in the Elite Eight. The game against Kansas is Saturday night in San Antonio. With the win, the Heels will play UCLA or Memphis in the national championship. Now, the Heels haven't seen Final Four action since we won it all, so hopefully next week we will be partying like it's 2005.
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you so much, Marissa. Well, the Heels aren't the only ones who are traveling the country. Former First Daughter Chelsea Clinton is also making the rounds. Nearly 500 people crammed into the Frank Porter Graham Student Union today to welcome Chelsea Clinton. She made stops at NC State and Peace College before heading to UNC. It's part of the Clinton campaign Our Voices, Our Future tour to reach out to young voters. Workers were also on call to help students register to vote and gain support for Hillary. Chelsea's #1 goal is to get her mom elected. One thing Chelsea spoke adamantly about was her mother's opinion on the armed forces.
Her work on the Armed Services Committee, which is distinctive to her as someone who's running, matters to me, because as much as I think that military force should always be a last resort.
Obama and Clinton are fighting for North Carolina's 115 delegates and 9 superdelegates. Our state's primary is May 6th.
UNC administrators are rolling out their new Alert Carolina campaign, the new emergency communication program. Carolina Week's Adam Rue joins us live from the newsroom. And Adam, there seem to be some hurdles to overcome with the highly touted program.
That's exactly right, Johnny. Some of the officials we talked to say some portions of the plan work great, while others still need work.
Either the sirens or the text.
University spokesman Mike McFarland calls Alert Carolina multi-layered, meaning there are many ways to get in touch with you in the event of an emergency.
Our most proactive approach is to send these messages to all the communication channels that we have available.
Those channels include emails, text messages, voicemails, and warning sirens. UNC Information Technology Director Brian Paste says the text messaging system is nearly flawless.
We can get them out in terms of, thousands to tens of thousands per minute. We can do the pretty high volume getting the messages out.
In fact, when he sent 900 text messages in connection with the murder of Student Body President Eve Carson, seen here in this 2007 file footage, Paste says the system worked like it was supposed to.
We had delivered all the messages within about a minute of sending them.
But there are problems with other means of communication, especially email, which McFarland says can be painstakingly slow.
At minimum, we would expect it to take at least 2 hours to send a campus email to everyone. And oftentimes, we know that it will take much longer than that.
There are also glitches with the voicemail messages delivered to all on-campus telephones. The message waiting light on many models doesn't come on until the phone rings again, meaning some people might not get an important message until much later.
I know that our ITS people are working with the vendor to see if that can be addressed, but we're certainly aware of that limitation.
Paste says the ultimate goal is to get everything working simultaneously.
You may get an email, a text message, hear the siren, and get a phone call. That's fine. In the situations that we're talking about, we want you to be as informed as possible.
Now we know that university administrators plan a major test of the entire emergency communication system at some point before the end of the semester.
Adam, how's the student response to the text message program been?
Well, Jonathan, those problems continue. In fact, PACE tells us that only a very tiny percentage of people have actually signed up for the program. They're really pushing students and staff to do so. We put directions about how to go about signing up on our website, carolinaweek.org.
Adam Rue, live in the newsroom. Thank you.
The Bell Tower parking lot is now closed to make room for a new parking deck. The lot will be closed to all vehicles except those designated for construction, service, and emergency purposes. Pedestrians will also have some trouble getting through the barriers, especially on rainy days like today. Next Monday, workers will deactivate the traffic signal at the intersection of South Road and the older Bell Tower Drive. Students like Jeffrey Philogene will have to cross at the new signal 1 block to the east.
Like, I usually walk back to South Campus when I leave work, and I usually go back that way, and now I have to walk all the way around just to go back to South Campus, so it's an inconvenience. But I feel like it's a necessary inconvenience because without it, you know, we won't have as much parking, and we need more parking spaces.
At UNC, what some students call the University of Never-Ending Construction, delays and detours are just part of the student experience.
The controversial website Juicy Campus is under investigation for violating consumer fraud laws. We told you about the website where students can post uncensored gossip a few weeks ago. Since then, the website has sparked even more outrage, and the state of New Jersey is investigating student complaints about false statements on the website. The website founder, Matt Ivester, is a Duke grad and says the site isn't legally responsible for the material posted.
Thousands of American couples would like to have children, but can't. For them, adoption can be a wonderful thing, but Bethany Tuggle shows us how difficult the process can be.
Simon Bowman is able to do something he couldn't do in the Russian orphanage where he spent his first 6 years. Enjoy a meal with his mom and dad.
I found this kid in Russia that I felt like needed a mom.
Ellen and Brian Bowman already had a special needs child and decided to adopt Simon because they think every child should have a family.
If you really love children and you really want to change the world, why not take a child that doesn't have a mom and a dad and be their mom and dad?
Thousands of children are waiting to be adopted by loving families like the Bowmans.
And as this family points out, you don't have to go international to find that little one to add to your family tree.
We have 2 foster children now. And so we're hoping that if parental rights are terminated, that we would be given the opportunity to adopt a set of twins.
The Bowmans decided to adopt domestically this time, but that doesn't mean it's been any easier.
I personally today believe it's easier to adopt foreignly.
It's very aggravating. It's taken us 2 years to be approved to be adopted through our state when it only took just a couple of months through a paid adoption agency.
Although it can be hard, Ellen says we can't give up on the children who need us the most.
You don't take a puppy back to the pound. I mean, the children are not dogs. I mean, they are human beings and they are lives that are very impressionable.
In Durham, I'm Bethany Tuggle, Carolina Week.
Because of the hassle, the Bowmans say this will probably be the last time adopting for them, but they'd still recommend it to other families. Well, most of us are very happy that it's finally spring.
And I would have to agree, but coming up, we'll tell you about how some people celebrate the change of the seasons.
Hear that? How could I not? They can't be serious. This is their 3rd party this week, and I have a test tomorrow.
Yeah, and they blocked me in again.
Let's party! Anything left in here?
I bet they're gonna leave their garbage out again. They do this every time when they have friends over.
It's important to be considerate of others who live close to you. You wouldn't want neighbors like these. Make sure to control your garbage, obey Chapel Hill noise ordinances, park only in your driveway or other designated areas, obey all alcohol laws, and remember, we're all living in this community together, so be a good neighbor.
Following the Zoroastrian calendar, Persians celebrate Nowruz, or the Persian New Year, on the first day of spring. Here are the sights and sounds of that celebration.
I came out tonight to celebrate Nowruz with most of my friends here at UNC. season and coming from the nature.
The whole universe is coming back to life. Greens are starting to come out. That's why we celebrate the very moment of the spring.
The Persian calendar was created 2,500 years ago as part of the ancient Zoroastrian annual celebration of springtime. Outside this door is a special ceremonial table. It consists of 7 dishes and their names begin with the letter S. They each represent something. Senjed, which is for love.
People, hug each other, kiss each other. The elders give gift to younger ones.
Everyone gets around, family, friends, and have a good time. Eat. Most of the people right now are having a good time dancing and burning off most of the good food that they ate.
My favorite time tonight was watching the dance performance, of course.
We have very beautiful dancing as Iranians. A huge part of Persian culture is dancing. Just go out there and express yourself. And it really doesn't matter if you're good or not.
It's important to have a united community, especially in times where the Middle East is being looked at so much.
I feel like people get the wrong idea of Iran and Persian people, Persian culture. And I think Nowruz is a good demonstration of what being Persian is all about. It's just having a good time and enjoying each other's company, regardless of any differences.
Yesterday, Persians spent the day outdoors picnicking and playing soccer to avoid the bad omen of being inside on the 13th day. North Carolina Hillel, the foundation for Jewish life that serves 20 academic institutions in the state, is still searching for a new director. Josh Blumenthal announced earlier this month that he would be leaving. Blumenthal and the Hillel Board of Directors agreed that it just wasn't a good fit. Interim Director Sue Clapper says students shouldn't worry. Hillel will continue to serve its purpose for Jewish students.
Students should feel confident that the board of North Carolina Hillel is taking their best interest and looking diligently to be able to find someone who will be able to fill this void
by this summer. Officials hope to find a new director by this summer.
While the Harry Potter craze continues to sweep through the world, the young wizard has also flown into college classrooms across the country. Many professors incorporate J.K. Rowling's series into their curricula as an analytical literary tool. One UNC English course, Reading Children's Literature, uses one of the Harry Potter books to look into the deeper meaning of the story from an adult's perspective. Senior Anne Brannon took the course and says the book is just as entertaining for adults as it is for children.
Symbols and the language and the complexity to the story and all the characters, there's just a whole lot going on that might go over a child's head.
Although the series is over, it looks like Harry Potter will live on for years to come.
Well, don't let the recent rainfall fool you. The drought is far from over. The U.S. Drought Monitor says we're still in an extreme drought, but our conservation efforts are making a difference. University Lake is now more than half full, which wasn't the case last month. There's enough water to last us through the rest of 2008. Even though we've had rain for 3 days straight, we still have a deficit of nearly 10 inches since January 2007. Orange Water and Sewer Authority is continuing stage 3 water restrictions for now. In the meantime, keep those showers short. You know, you really could have had me fooled this weekend because it was raining and it was a soggy weekend.
It was. But you know what? Perhaps weathercaster Corey Davis will let us know what's coming up next, or can we still expect strong showers, Corey?
Well, you know, those April showers came in a day early. Will we see more rain this week? I'll let you know next.
Let's go, man. Oh, you're fast.
Hello, ladies.
Can you imagine your life without animals? Here at the Durham Animal Shelter, we can't. So come see us. Your new best friend is already expecting you.
Let's give it a shot. You can do it this time. I gotta get a real dog.
There is really only one boy, one girl, one tree, one forest, one ocean, one mountain, one sky, and one simple way to care for it all. Please visit earthshare.org and learn how the world's leading environmental groups are working together under one name, EarthShare. One environment, one simple way to care for it.
Indoors right now because it is raining hard outside. Across the Triangle, we had a wet weekend, and now we're seeing the starts of a wet week. We're expecting the rain to continue falling over the next few days, tonight, tomorrow, and through Wednesday morning. We'll also be seeing some changing temperatures over the next few days. As we see several cold and warm fronts move through the area, we'll fluctuate back and forth between very warm days and very cold days. And fortunately, by midweek, we'll see some clearing in our weather, which will make it kind of nice to get outside. It'll still be a little chilly, so you might need a jacket if you're headed outdoors. So with all this rain we're getting, exactly how much have we seen? Well, let's take a look at our rainfall update. Yesterday, we saw about 1/4 of an inch of rain. We've seen more than that already today, which will help add to our monthly total, currently a little more than 4.5 inches. And as we close the book on March tonight at midnight, we could see upwards of 5 inches of rain for the month, which would be about 1 inch more than our average for the month. However, despite all this rain, we are still in a drought situation, as Johnny just mentioned, and over the past 12 months, we're nearly 7 inches in the hole rain-wise. Well, let's switch over to the national map now, and you see it's soggy up and down the east coast. There's some showers over the northeast right now, and also we're staying wet over the southeast thanks to some bands of rain that are moving through. Our next major weather maker, though, is currently over the Midwest. This band bringing heavier rain along with some thunderstorms over parts of Missouri right now. It's headed in our direction. Let's take a closer look at North Carolina right now. And you see we do have this band of rain moving up from the southwest through the Triangle. Also some rain falling back towards the mountains, but in the western part of the Piedmont and through the Triad here, things are dry for now. So what's the reason for all this rain we're getting right now? Well, let's take a look at our surface map, and you'll see that the leading edge of a warm front is sitting right over our area. Behind that warm front, we're going to see some more rain move through, along with some warmer weather that will hit us tomorrow. And as we head into Tuesday, we'll see this frontal system push off the coast, and we'll see this cold front, the one that was bringing some of the heavier rains and even thunderstorms over the Midwest, moving in our direction. And we could see some weather like that through the day tomorrow. By Wednesday, that system will begin to push off the coast, and we'll be clearing up and also be slightly cooler thanks to high pressure moving in from the north. So what can we expect as the rain continues to fall over the next 24 hours or so? Well, around midnight tonight, it will still be raining, and it will be about the same as temperatures as we saw today, a little bit cooler in the mid-50s. As we head through tomorrow, April Fool's Day, this is no joke. It will be raining more, and we could see some gusty winds from time to time. Also, we'll look for a chance of thunderstorms as will be quite warm during the day, and that could help get some of those storms brewing. As we head through the evening hours, we'll see an increased chance of severe weather. So let's take a look at our 4-day forecast. Of course, we're dealing with those showers and even thunderstorms over the next couple of days. Temperatures will be around 70 tomorrow, but slightly cooler on Wednesday, and will cool down even further on Thursday, although we will be clearing up. Friday, we'll see an increased chance of rain again to end the week. So guys, right now, I know it's dreary outside, but it sure is nice to see this rainfall.
It really is, Corey, but I'm guessing that warm weather from last week that we enjoyed so much was just Mother Nature teasing us.
Yeah, unfortunately, spring started last week. We'll have to wait a little longer to see weather like that again.
All right.
All right, Corey, thank you so much. Well, Carolina and Duke teaming up is not something you hear very often, but it's the annual basketball marathon to raise money for children with disabilities. Each school provided several teams to play in a series of basketball games. Cheerleaders and bands and supporters helped keep the ball rolling during a 26-hour-long game. Each team wore its respective shade of blue and hung jerseys and championship banners in the rafters throughout the game. Volunteer Ashley Sigmund says her favorite part was seeing the children.
Watching the kids running around and dribbling and just being able to kind of celebrate for them.
The children put on their own performance after the games ended to show off some skills. Carolina lost the marathon, but it was a victory for all when the children got a $44,000 check. So it sounds like the only way Carolina is willing to lose is if it's for charity.
That definitely seems to be the case, as both basketball teams are steamrolling the competition. Coming up, the women lashed Louisville on their way to the Elite Eight. A win tonight puts them in the Final Four and on par with the men's team.
You know, so I was just thinking, just trim the ends just a little
I got
bit.
it from here, Monsieur Salon type guy.
Hey, today everybody is Pixie Cut Day. We're gonna take it real short and then we're gonna dye it. Jet black, the look that says, I scribble dark lyrics in my journal.
No pixie cut.
It just says, I've got issues.
I don't have issues.
Well, you will after this haircut. Pixie Cut it is.
I
Yes.
don't want a pixie cut.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
It's springtime in the forest of the black-tailed deer. The young male is feeling playful. It's time for tag. The female flicks her ears. Her way of saying, catch me if you can.
Making the Final Four is no small accomplishment. In the Elite Eight matchup against Louisville, it looked for a while like the Cardinals would ruin Carolina's dream, just like Georgetown did last year.
For the Tar Heel faithful, it was inevitable. For the teams in the way, it was the biggest challenge of the season. For the Heels, it was a combination of many steps.
We just, won a tournament in a tournament, and so we know that this is not our last step. We're very excited to get to this point, but we continue to have that same attitude that, we have more work to do.
But pushing past the Elite Eight didn't come as easy as wins in earlier games. The Heels lost a 12-point halftime lead as Louisville battled back and tied the game at 59, reminding many of last year's overtime game when Georgetown shattered Final Four hopes.
That was in the back of, I'd say a lot of our minds. One thing about tonight, I think there was, that point where they went on that run, and I think the difference this year is, we handled that run better and stayed poised and came back, got some points.
Ty Lawson started the breakaway, knocking down a three and pushing the lead to 7. Tyler Hansbrough followed and helped seal the win, hitting 2 jumpers over Louisville's David Padgett, making it 75-66. The final minutes ticked away as the Heels went 8 for 8 at the foul line, proving they learned from last year's loss. 3 hard years in the making, and a Final Four appearance for the Heels is due, in large part, to Hansbrough's do-or-die play.
You guys have heard it before. He does the same thing in practice every day. I mean, the young man is the most driven, most focused youngster I've ever seen in my life to try to be the best player he can be and to help his team win.
The Heels will have to play their best to win it all. For the first time ever, all 4 #1 seeds are in the Final Four. Carolina takes on 35-3 Kansas, and Memphis takes on UCLA in the other national semifinal. Both of those teams won easily in the Elite Eight. Whichever team wins this year's national championship will definitely have earned it. The men's team isn't the only one getting some love. After crushing Bucknell and Georgia, the top-seeded Lady Tar Heels face their first challenge of the NCAA tournament against Louisville Saturday.
LaToya Pringle had 27 points and 11 rebounds to lead the Tar Heels in a comeback victory against Louisville. The shots weren't falling for the Heels in the first half as they faced a Cardinal conundrum, being outplayed and out-rebounded by 4th-ranked Louisville. Early turnovers by UNC and some quick 3-pointers by the Cardinals, Louisville has an 18-point lead. But the Tar Heels turned the tide, pulling within 9, ending the half with this Jessica Breland shot. With a strong defensive effort in the second, the Tar Heels capitalize on some Louisville turnovers and go on an 11-1 run. Technical foul on Louisville coach Jeff Waltz sends LaToya Pringle to the line for 2 shots. UNC down by 3. DeGraffenreid to Breland for a layup. The Tar Heels capture the lead with 8 minutes left. Louisville hits a pair of last-minute threes, but the Tar Heels get the win, 78-74. UNC will face number 2 LSU tonight. The Tar Heels will try to earn their 3rd straight bid to the Final Four. In Chapel Hill, I'm Bridger Floyd, Carolina Week.
The Heels have a bit of a tough go in the Elite Eight. They'll have to beat LSU tonight in New Orleans. Not a home game for the Tigers, but pretty close to it. It's one of 4 #1 versus #2 matchups to make it to the Final Four. Stanford takes on Maryland in tonight's 2nd game. The softball team is #1 in the ACC after sweeping Georgia Tech on Saturday. Danielle Spalding contributed 2 RBIs with a solo homer in Game 1 and earned the win in Game 2. The Heels play East Carolina on Wednesday at 4. Sunday's game against Georgia Tech was rained out, and the baseball team suffered the same fate. The Heels split a pair against NC State earlier in the weekend, winning 5-2 on Friday and falling 8-6 on Saturday. The baseball Heels play UNCG tomorrow in Cary. Now, even with all that's going on in the sports world at UNC, there's no way that we will be able to forget about the Final Four that's taking place this weekend.
That's true. And you know what, we were noticing, Marissa, that right on Marcus Ginyard's jersey there was a patch that read Eve.
Yes, the athletic department supplied all the sports teams with Eve patches. So the softball team has them. The baseball team has smaller ones that are on the sides of their hats. It's great that the athletic department is showing their support as well.
What a wonderful way for us to carry her with us.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. And we'll be poised for that big celebration coming up on Franklin Street next Monday, so it'll be a very exciting time for us. Now, even though most of us can't take the road trip to get to the Final Four,
we'll show you how you can be there in spirit and in clothing.
Thousands of kids in this country have everything it takes to go to college, except the money. The United Negro College Fund. A mind is a terrible thing to waste.
If you have a story idea, contact Carolina Week at 843-8292. You can also visit us online at carolinaweek.org. If you have questions about this program, write Carolina Week at Campus Box 3365, UNCCH, Chapel Hill, North Carolina, 27599.
Only 16 Tar Heels will wear the uniform in San Antonio, but Sarah Moore says that all of us have the opportunity to show our support by what we wear, whether we travel to the Final Four or not.
Maybe Tyler's face up close with those big wide eyes, because he's a psycho, crazy mother.
That's what Carolina fan Bo Hubbard says it would take for him to buy a Final Four t-shirt. But John Hudson, vice president of Carolina Pride Sportswear, says Final Four t-shirt sales have been going well, and he expects sales to continue to rise.
Well, we were very lucky. One nice company printed them last night and drove them up here. So we were about the first one on the streets to have them. And as more people know that we've got them, we'll sell more and more and more.
But some fans say they aren't going to count their chickens or their t-shirts before they hatch.
No, I'm not going to celebrate till they win it.
Hudson says others are willing to celebrate with a new t-shirt upon reaching the Final Four and winning the national championship.
Oh, they want both. They definitely want both.
But a lot of fans are less concerned with the t-shirts and more concerned with the teams.
Got to meet Kansas in the Final Four, then Memphis in the last game. I think that'd be good, high-paced, fast game.
More think it doesn't even matter who the Heels play as long as they get the outcome they want.
I think they should be in the Final Four. I think they got probably the best team next to Kansas, or along with Kansas, in the country.
Regardless of the Final Four t-shirt sales, every Carolina fan is hoping to see that national champion shirt in the window next. In Chapel Hill, I'm Sarah Moore, Carolina Week.
All right, now here's our challenge for the men's and women's basketball teams. To keep up with the Joneses, you have to win the national championship.
and in this case, the Joneses are Carolina Week and Carolina Connection. We're very happy to tell you that we've recently won a number of regional and national awards, including 2 Emmys and the Hearst National Championship. Many thanks to the whole entire crew for all the hard work.
So, Roy's boys and Sylvia's girls, it's time to do your part too.
Absolutely.
Well, that does it for this edition of Carolina Week.
Don't forget to join us again for the Wednesday edition of Carolina Week. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a good night wherever you are.